We're going to talk to Jim. That's two in a row. Tom, our numbers are up. Our stats are getting better. We're going to talk to Jim, who's calling us from Chicago. Jim, welcome to the Dr. Cloud Show.
Hey, Dr. Cloud, thanks for having me. I'm a big
Absolutely.
fan.
Thank you for calling.
I've read your Boundaries books, and I'm a subscriber to boundaries.me.
Way to go.
It's best money.
You're one of those stats that Tom was talking about.
So, Dr. Cloud, I have some sad news. After knowing a lady for years and growing together, we were engaged on New Year's Eve, and we had a wonderful 3 months. We had come to some good terms together about what our life might look like. And
wait, hold on a second. I want to make sure I get the timeline right. So how long had you been dating up until New Year's Eve?
We had dated since 2013, but we broke up. But we broke up twice during that time for a period of 6 months and dated other people. I read your book. How to Get a Date Worth Keeping. And when we came back together,
sounds like she was bouncing up and down over the keeping bar or not, because you were keeping her and not keeping her, right?
Yeah, I think that both of us weren't quite ready for each other in 2013 because we were both divorced around 2009, 2010. And so we had healing to do. We had both had long-term marriages of over 18 and 20 years. We had both had kids in those marriages. So we had stuff to get over.
This past year, how long have you been together before New Year's Eve? Where I want you to get back to New Year's Eve.
So about 6 months, and
6 months. Okay.
We had come to some really good resolutions. We're old enough that we had both agreed to a prenup, which she didn't want to agree to in years past, but she said, "I get it. That's fine." And so I said, "Well, maybe we should start shopping for rings." And so we're kidding each other on and off. And on New Year's Eve, I proposed, and she accepted, and we had a beautiful January, February, March, and like your knee surgery, this COVID thing hit. And so now I think that really put us backwards relationally years ago, because her college-age son, who's 18, came home from college, and I couldn't even get her to go for a walk with me, even with social distancing. And then as I started to talk to her on the phone and text, I found out she was walking with neighbors. And then I found out she was being a nanny at a wealthy home in the Chicago area. And when I started to point out what I thought was a double standard, then I'd get hung up on. Or I'd be told, "Oh, well, all you want is sex." And I'd be like, "Okay, it's not that I don't want that, but okay, we can just meet somewhere like a state park and walk. We can, do a tailgate someplace in public where there's no chance of that. We could go shopping at Costco together." But she kept rejecting. And as I probed deeper, it just got uglier and uglier. And finally I said, this just isn't working.
Well, it sounds like you made a good call. So
I think so, because it uncovered, the saying about a tide. When a tide goes out, it exposes the rocks. And so the thing about this COVID thing.
I'm sorry. I have been around a long time in this field, and I have never heard that one, but I like it. Things look good until the tide goes out, and then you go, "Oh my gosh, look what's underneath here."
Right. And I'm sure you're probably also familiar with what happens to people when they're under stress. What comes out is what's really inside them. And I wasn't liking what I saw was inside when she was under stress.
Yeah. So what's the question? I mean, today ought to be a sad day of celebration.
Right? You know what? There is one part. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's part of me that's celebrating. There's part of me that's sad because of a perceived loss. but I do think I made the right call, and I
Oh
guess I'm
my
just looking for
gosh.
validation.
Hey, hold on a second. Do you listen on Facebook or Instagram? Where do you listen?
Yeah. So I listen on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. Right now, would everybody on Facebook that's listening to this, would would you all let Jim know that a woman that is hanging up on him and lying to him and they're engaged and she won't go on a walk with him, but she's because of COVID reasons, but she's working in people's homes and going for walks and hanging out with other people and I mean everybody heard the story. Any of you think that he made a bad decision? Doesn't even sound like there was a choice anyway, because she kind of just opt out. But does anybody think maybe you ought to do two things? Do a good post-mortem on this relationship. What was it that I missed? Because I gotta believe some of those rocks were sticking through the water. A little, there were some red flags somewhere. What was it that I missed? And kind of how can I get my people picker a little better? So next time I can do better. So Jim, I'm gonna get you. You said you're calling for validation. I would bet my Memorial Day hot dog that I'm gonna get you some validation right now. Our audience is
Yeah, I'm
gonna
seeing
come
it.
say, "You
I'm
seeing
seeing
that?
it.
Don't we have the greatest audience? How about that?" So if that
Yep,
was your
you do.
question, Jim, if I were in your social distance backyard today, I'd make you a hot dog and celebrate. But I do want to say this. Yeah, I'm going to leave you with this, and then I got to go talk to some other callers. So I'm going to leave you with this. It's really rare in that much time that somebody would be able to pull off looking really, really good without showing some emotional reactivity or kind of instability or whatever it was that kind of erupted in this time, duplicity or lying. I mean, if we really had the movie and we could play it and we saw perfection up until this, that would kind of be a first. And so I just want you to go back and say, where did I see some red flags, and maybe not take a strong enough stand at that point and really say, look, we can't go further unless this is resolved. So I'd like for you to do that and then kind of work on that people picker. And if you go to how to get a date worth keeping, then you're going to see in there a bunch of stuff about diagnosing kind of character and who you're dealing with. Okay. Whoops, I think we lost you, but thank you. Thank you for your call. It was a great one. I don't want to make any rules because they're just stupid in areas like I'm about to make one in. Now, if you can figure that sentence out and send me some antipsychotic medication so I could do better, I'm open. What I mean is that you can't really make rules about this because people change and they work through stuff and you see all these kind of change. But most when you see, I mean, we're talking about a 7-year on again, off again relationship that broke up several times, got back together, broke up, got back together, and then, you know, thought it was going to be different. I don't know why they thought it was going to be different. Maybe there was a good reason, Jim. If I still had you, I would ask you. But generally speaking, what you want to look for if you're going to go that long on again, off again, in a dating scenario, you got to ask yourself, why is this so hard? It should not be this hard, people. I don't mean relationships are smooth without speed bumps, but you don't go into a relationship like looking for, chewing broken glass all the time. If it's that hard, then then say, why the heck is it this hard? It shouldn't be this hard. And then ask, is it me? Is it her or him? Is it both of us? What is it? It shouldn't be this hard. And so if something new or different can't occur in that relationship, maybe that is a good signal that, gosh, at this rate, I mean, how many good days do we have in 7 years? And maybe put them up on the calendar, and you get a couple of 3 days that are decent for every 87 that are conflictual. Maybe it's time to answer the question. I'm throwing a lot of time and effort, and I don't know what I'm going to get back in this dating relationship. Anyway, just something to think about.